Hey guys, it's Greg with Underground Graphics. We're going to do another stripe kit for you today. We spent like the last week designing stripe kits for the Bronco. I think we've got 4 or 5, maybe 6 that we've done. Most are going to be the dual stripe. This is the wide version. I believe they're 10-inch stripes, 1-inch void. We have the same thing with pinstripes. We have a thin version, which is a dual 7-inch stripes with and without pinstripe. We have the Shelby snake style where you have the thick with the 2 thicker pinstripes next to it, and then we have the offset. We did have a video for that, which is up as well. That's gonna have, I believe, the 6-inch off center. This obviously is gonna be right on center. In that one, we showed you how to kind of find that center. There's a shortcut to doing that. If you want to take a tape measure, go across the hood, divide it by 2, it can get kind of tricky. Not to find the numbers, but just sometimes that tape measure is kind of hard to get a hold of and hard to mess with. Our little shortcut, and we'll do this for you again. I have already wiped this hood down. It's clean, it's ready to go. We're gonna make that all the way across the hood. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be smooth. And it's gotta be even. So we're gonna cut right on the edge of that hood. Right on the edge of the hood. And fold that right over. You can use tape. We use grease markers here. Don't leave any residue. Wipe off with alcohol. You just fold that back, match that right back up. Make your mark, there's your center. Do that front, do that at the top of the hood. We're gonna do that for the A-pillar. Same thing here on the lower grill. Again, you can measure this over. These are 10-inch stripes, 1/2-inch void. That's 21 inches divided by 2. You get 10.5. So then you're going to mark your lines again over 10.5, over 10.5, and you're good to go. Just like the other stripe kits, we're going to come up to the back. We're going to have a little rollover at the front, but the back is going to show just a hair of paint. Same here at front. We're going to roll in, roll across the bottom. Up on top, we're going to have a little bit of bead of paint showing above that glass. So it's not going to tuck in anywhere. It's just going to be nice and smooth. Just goes right over that roll. And we have the piece for the back. Some people may not want this. It's optional, but it does come with the kit. We spent the time to do it. It looks great. Some people do like to look back there and know that those stripes do go all the way back. We call that a bumper-to-bumper kit. As well, as you can tell, these are cut to fit. Nothing is, you don't have to trim anything. It's all ready to go. No knives on the car. And yeah, it's great. So we'll put this aside and we'll get started. Like I said, we've got this already cleaned up. I like to use a water alcohol mix. And I've actually already marked those centers for me. So again, this will kind of speed up the process of the video. I'm gonna go ahead and mark center on here. So I can get an idea. I've got a couple more that we're going to do today as well. Those I'm just going to do real quick. Then you can do a time lapse for those. And again, this is just going to give us some marks. Get in the back. Hardest part of this is really getting up on the roof of this. I've got a 2-inch lift on here with those 35s, makes it a little tricky to get up here, so forgive me if it's a little awkward, but we'll make it work. The vinyl that we're using on these kits, everything we do for a vehicle is going to be wrap film, unless otherwise specified, but we believe if it's good enough for a wrap, it's good enough for your car. And that longevity is great, finish is great, easy to install. You can do this dry. You don't have to worry about all that water and that solution and soap and letting that stuff evaporate. It's a mess. Sometimes those films do last longer. I just don't think it's worth it. This gives you the option to change it up if you want to change it and do different things with it. Good to go. That offset stripe was a little bit easier, just on one side of the vehicle. Do this. You can really just lay that down. With these wrap cones, I'm sure you've heard the expression before post heating. We do that to set the adhesive memory. In this case, there's not a lot of stress on that film. You don't have to do that. It's not going to hurt to do it. I would say do go over with heat anyway, just to see if there's going to be any part of that adhesive that you didn't get all the way down. If you do take this outside and start it up and you see a little bubble, that means you didn't get all the way down. So that way you'll know. We'll just work down overlapping strokes. We will provide you a squeegee. Now it will be a hard squeegee. Now if you want that felt surface on it, you get a microfiber, wrap around the edge, old t-shirt, cut it down, tape it around the edge. Hard one will be fine as long as you're on the paper. Again, make sure we're still straight. We are. And the mask I have on this is paper. Again, I'm doing 4 or 5 stripe kits in about 3 or 4 days. So we're actually using a 3M calendar control tack. Still air release, but it's a calendar film. But again, this is just really to show you guys how easy this goes on. And the mask that we provide with your kits is called Air Mask. It's also an air release mask, which is conformable with the vinyl. I've got a clear bra on here that we did as well. So you see a line in here, that's that clear bra. And again, this would be a little trickier because I don't have that air mask on here. Coming over the front of this hood. So what we do here is we're going to go ahead and relieve that, take that mask off, let that vinyl stretch a little bit. You see that is? Again, when there's no mask on that, you want to be real careful. You make sure you're using that soft. Don't put that hard edge on there because it will scratch. You got to be real careful with it. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, don't be afraid to take it somewhere. Any sign shop, a local wrap guy, I'm sure you know somebody. This is about an hour to hour and a half of prep, and it should play the hood, play all those areas, clean, prep, install. This is that front bumper piece. This one I measured for the fin stripes. I'll go ahead and make another mark. And again, you'll have just a little bit of overlap. You just want to go right over the edge of that. There's just I've got a slight curve on this already pre-cut, so once you get those edges tacked, this does have a little bit more curve than any other part that you're going to be wrapping. So I would go ahead and get the top and the very first edge of that tacked, and then go ahead and pull off that mask. Again, that'll let that material get a little softer or more pliable. If you need it softer, you can use a little bit of heat. Out of all of our stripe kits that we have available, this one, because it's the widest, is probably going to be the hardest to put on. But again, they're not. None of them are difficult by any means. I really haven't tried this by taking the top off. That may be kind of easy to get that tape down in there, but I'm going to go ahead and lay this. I know where my mark's going to be. Scissors. You could actually put the top down, stay on the seats and do this. I used to install windshield banners that way on Jeeps and convertibles. It makes it easy. So again, you can do that. If you cut that tape, you've got that line up there. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll get the camera set up for the back, and we're almost done. All right, so we're at the back. If you chose to do the back half of the stripes, I think it's worth it. I just think it completes the kit. I will say that you are not going to see these with that tire on. The offset, you'll see it poke out, and as you walk to the side, you'll see it even more. If you're like me and you have the offset wheels, it does come off this a little bit more. So again, I wanted to complete the kit. Just like with the offset stripe, these are gonna have cut marks here, here, and here. So you can get those around. We really didn't even need them here, but they're there in case you needed to shift a little bit. You do wanna unbolt these two. There's 4 bolts here, Torque's 30, I believe, and just let that drop. So we'll go ahead and get this thing set up here. And the great part about the back is because that is cut to fit, you really don't have to measure anything. This will fit right over that carrier. I'm just gonna get a couple of these in case we need them. And so here, again, we're gonna follow that top edge right at the top of the gate. So kind of center to that carrier, and where you want that up at the top should be about 1/16 of an inch. You can eyeball that, you don't have to measure that. That looks really good. And what I want to do is just go ahead and get this in place, and we'll cut, and actually do this in 2 pieces, but I did want to get this placed. So here's your brake here. Again, this is our first time installing this. I can take that out or leave it, so it doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and put that back. Check our fitment. We're going to do this in 2 pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and tape in there. Again, that tape is just to hold it in place so it doesn't shift around. I'm looking at this to see how I am going to attack this, but it's not. That tape just so it doesn't go anywhere. Now we've got a mark here, we got a mark there, we know where that's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and split this. This way I can also see it can follow that line up on top. You may want to zip tie that in place. You don't want that falling around. So actually we're doing this in like quadrants. Keep in mind this stuff is forgiving, so don't be afraid to manhandle that if you're gonna move the stuff around. All right, I'm gonna get lower so I can follow that body line, but I got my mark here with that tape. My mark. There we go. And leave that mask on so you've got this as a lineup as well. Moving back to the other side. And again, I'm going to leave that connected there. Remember, go and get that down, just match up your old tape line down here. And then match up to your mask. You can just kind of tack that down, it'll lay. There we go. Now we can pull that out. So this one you do want to, since we're not getting a good area to get that good edge on there on that squeegee, we'll go back with the heat gun and check, make sure there's nothing coming back up. This will also be great for those that take off the carrier and have that bracket. I forgot what the shops were that offer those, but they're pretty cool. I want to carry a spare. I've got a little wrinkle right up in here. Got it. Not sure what the time was on this, but I feel like it was longer on this than it was the rest of this kit. All right, well, looks good. Guys, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, as always, just give us a call, shoot us an email. We're usually always here. Leave a comment, subscribe and like, and thanks for watching.